Hello, English learners. Welcome back to another lesson here with us at EnglishPod. My name is Marco.
And I'm Erica.
And today we are going to have a very casual, normal conversation.
That's right. We're going to listen in on some small talk between a taxi driver and the passenger.
Small talk. So that's basically...
small, short conversations you have with someone that you don't know very well.
Okay, so typical questions like how old are you, where you're from,
Yep.
etc.
That's right. And this can be really hard for English learners because they often don't know what the right thing to say or the right thing to talk about. So we're going to give you a lot of phrases in this lesson that you can use in small talk.
Okay, so we don't have anything to preview today, so let's listen to the dialogue for the first time, and then we'll come back.
Where to, miss?
Hi, Crenshaw and Hawthorne at the Holiday Inn that is on that corner.
Sure thing. So, where are you flying in from?
From China.
Really? You don't look very Chinese to me, if you don't mind me saying so.
It's fine. I am actually from Mexico. I was in China on a business trip, visiting some local companies that manufacture bathroom products.
Wow, sounds interesting. Excuse me if I'm being a bit nosy, but how old are you?
Don't you know it's rude to ask a lady her age?
Don't get me wrong. It's just that you seem so young and already doing business overseas.
Well, thank you. In that case, I am 26 years old. And what about yourself?
I'm 40 years old and was born and raised here in the good old US of A. Although I have some Colombian heritage.
Really? That's great. Do you speak Spanish?
Yeah, of course.
Qué bien, entonces podemos hablar en español.
All right, so I don't think this guy spoke much Spanish, do you?
No, even though he has Colombian heritage, I think he doesn't speak much. But maybe he's just a little bit rusty.
Maybe, but what he does speak is English, and since this is EnglishPod, why don't we look at some of the phrases that they used for small talk in Fluency Builder?
Fluency Builder.
All right, so today on Fluency Builder, we're going to take a look at phrases that both the passenger and the taxi driver use to make small talk. So why don't we start with the first one?
All right, so the taxi driver tells the passenger that she doesn't look very Chinese, if you don't mind me saying so.
Right, so he said, you don't look very Chinese to me, if you don't mind me saying so.
If you don't mind me saying so.
So what does he mean by this last part of his sentence?
Well, this is a phrase that we use to soften a sort of a statement that might be a little bit rude.
She could be Chinese.
Yeah.
Right? So it may be a little bit rude to say that, but he kind of apologizes.
That's right.
Right? By saying, if you don't mind me saying so.
Okay, so for example, I could say, hey, Marco, you look a little tired today, if you don't mind me saying so.
Okay, so does it always go at the end?
You could use it at the beginning. If you don't mind me saying so, I just don't think this is a good idea.
Okay, very good. So you can use this phrase in the beginning or at the end of a sentence.
Right, and it makes your statement a little bit less rude.
If you don't mind me saying so. Now, again, he also apologizes a little bit when he says, excuse me if I am being a bit nosy, but...
Excuse me if I'm being a bit nosy, but...
Excuse me if I'm being a bit nosy, but...
Okay, so let's take a look at this. Nosy, what's this?
Okay, when somebody is nosy, it means they're very curious. They are asking too many questions.
Yeah, asking more questions than they should ask.
Right. So he apologizes and says, well, excuse me if I'm asking too many questions. And then he asks her another question.
He asks her how old she is.
Right. So again, it's a polite way of maybe asking a question that might be a little bit sensitive.
Yeah, or a little bit impolite.
Okay. So, of course, asking a woman her age maybe is a little bit impolite, right?
Yes, typically women don't like that too much. But our next phrase, we heard the taxi driver say, don't get me wrong.
Don't get me wrong.
Don't get me wrong.
Okay, so don't get me wrong. He says, well, don't misunderstand what I'm saying.
That's right. This phrase is used so commonly in English that I think it would help us to hear some examples.
Example 1.
Don't get me wrong. It's not that I think you stole my computer. It's just that you were the only one who could get into my room.
Example 2. I do have a few problems with the plan, but don't get me wrong, I still think it's a good idea. Example 3.
Don't get me wrong. I think John's a nice guy. He's just a bit disorganized.
All right, very good example. So don't get me wrong, right?
That's right.
And now for the final phrase on putting it together today.
Well, the passenger, the woman, says her age. She says, I'm 26 years old. And what about yourself?
What about yourself?
What about yourself?
All right, now, this sentence isn't very correct, actually, right?
Yeah, technically it's not correct in grammar, but it is used so commonly every day by American English speakers that we thought we'd show it to you.
Okay, so you would say, I am 26 years old, and what about you?
That's right.
Okay, but commonly you will hear people say, what about yourself?
And if you use this, you'll sound really fluent and really native-like.
Okay, very good. So what about yourself?
So again, it's just like, what about you? So I could say, hey, Marco, I'm going away on holiday this weekend. And what about yourself?
Okay, what about yourself? So we've taken a look at these 4 phrases on putting it together. Why don't we listen to the dialogue for the second time? We're going to slow it down a little bit, and then we'll come back and take a look at some vocabulary words on Language Takeaway.
Where to, miss?
Hi, Crenshaw and Hawthorne at the Holiday Inn that is on that corner.
Sure thing. So, where are you flying in from?
From China.
Really? You don't look very Chinese to me, if you don't mind me saying so.
It's fine. I am actually from Mexico. I was in China on a business trip, visiting some local companies that manufacture bathroom products.
Wow, sounds interesting. Excuse me if I'm being a bit nosy, but how old are you?
Don't you know it's rude to ask a lady her age?
Don't get me wrong. It's just that you seem so young and already doing business overseas.
Well, thank you. In that case, I am 26 years old. And what about yourself?
I am 40 years old and was born and raised here in the good old US of A, although I have some Colombian heritage.
Really? That's great. Do you speak some Spanish?
Yeah, of course.
¡Qué bien! Entonces podemos hablar en español.
Well, we've got some interesting vocabulary words and phrases here in Language Takeaway. And the first one.
Well, after she gets in the taxi and tells him where she wants to go, he answers by saying, sure thing.
Sure thing.
Sure thing.
Sure thing.
So if I say, yeah, sure thing, what does that mean?
Well, let's listen to some examples to help us understand.
Example 1. Do you mind lending me $100?
Sure thing.
Example 2. Could you please send me the email by the end of the day?
Sure thing.
Example 3.
Do you mind lending me $100?
Sure thing.
Could you please send me the email by the end of the day?
Sure thing. Example 4. Can you get some milk on the way home?
Sure thing, I'm on my way now.
Okay, so sure thing, basically, yeah, no problem, or okay,
Or I'll do it.
I'll do it.
Yep.
It's fine.
Yep.
So it's a very common way. You will hear this a lot when somebody agrees or says, yes, no problem.
Yeah, and again, it will help you sound really native-like to use this phrase. Well, the next one, the taxi driver says, I was born and raised here.
I was born and raised here.
Born and raised.
Okay, so this is a way of saying I was born in this country and I haven't left this country.
That's right. So I'm from this country.
Okay, born and raised here in the good old US of A.
Good old US of A.
The good old US of A.
So this is a pretty interesting way of saying America.
Right. It's actually more of a phrase, right? The good old US of A.
Yep.
Okay, so it means the good United States of America.
Yeah, it's kind of a fond way or a friendly way of describing America.
All right. And we have one more word for language takeaway.
Well, the taxi driver was talking about his Colombian heritage.
Colombian heritage.
Heritage.
All right, so if I have Colombian heritage, what does that mean?
Your grandmother or, grandfather, great-grandmother, or someone in your family is from Colombia.
Okay, and what about the word heritage by itself?
Yeah, so your heritage is basically your culture, your...
Customs.
Yeah, your customs, your history.
Okay, so heritage. A country rich in heritage.
Lots of good old historical culture in that country.
Okay, very good. So now it's time for us to listen to the dialogue for the last time. Now we can understand all these phrases and these great words that we've just looked at, and then we'll come back and talk a little bit more.
Where to, miss?
Hi, Crenshaw and Hawthorne at the Holiday Inn that is on that corner.
Sure thing. So, where are you flying in from?
From China.
Really? You don't look very Chinese to me, if you don't mind me saying so.
It's fine. I am actually from Mexico. I was in China on a business trip, visiting some local companies that manufacture bathroom products.
Wow, sounds interesting. Excuse me if I'm being a bit nosy, but how old are you?
Don't you know it's rude to ask a lady her age?
Don't get me wrong. It's just that you seem so young and already doing business overseas.
Well, thank you. In that case, I am 26 years old, and what about yourself?
I'm 40 years old and was born and raised here in the good old US of A, although I have some Colombian heritage.
Really? That's great. Do you speak Spanish?
Yeah, of course.
Qué bien, entonces podemos hablar en español.
So, Marco, this taxi driver makes a bit of a mistake when he asks the woman how old she is.
Yes, yeah, exactly. There are a couple of questions that in some cultures are considered to be normal and okay,
Yep.
but in other cultures they're not really well accepted.
Okay, so in Anglo culture, for example, it's really impolite to ask a woman how old she is.
Right, women are a little bit more sensitive about their age. Others aren't so much, but it's usually better to just not ask.
Yep. And what else should we avoid talking about in small talk?
Well, for example, when you ask a person their occupation,
Yep.
you can ask what they do for a living, but don't ask how much money they make.
That's right. Anglo people are really sensitive about talking about money. We hate talking about money.
Right, so don't ask somebody their salary or how much money they make. It's just not considered to be polite.
And another good one to be careful of is asking if someone is married or not.
Right, sometimes you're just being friendly and you
Yeah.
want to know if that person has family or
Yeah.
something. But you have to be careful when and where you ask this question.
Right. So if they've mentioned their family, or if they talked about their kids or something else to do with their family, then it's okay.
Right, you can say, well, oh, how long have you been married?
Yeah.
But if a guy asks a girl, oh, are you married? It kind of sounds like maybe he's interested in her or that he's trying to come on to her and to be maybe more than friendly, right?
That's right.
Okay.
So some great small talk tips and phrases here at EnglishPod. Now, if you have any questions about this lesson or any other lessons, be sure to visit our website at EnglishPod.com.
And if you also have any doubts about which questions you think are appropriate of asking somebody, yeah, come onto the website and let us know.
So thanks for downloading, you guys, and until next time, goodbye.
Hello, English learners. Welcome back to another edition here with us at EnglishPod. My name is Marco.
And I'm Erica.
And today we are doing the third part of our Old English series. And today we're transported back to the 1970s.
That's right. So we're going to learn some 1970s slang, some phrases that were really popular back in the 70s, but are also still in use today.
Exactly. So it's going to be a very cool lesson today. And before we start with the dialogue, let's take a look at some of the words that we're going to find in Vocabulary Preview.
Vocabulary Preview.
Well, we have 2 words for you in vocabulary preview, and they're both found in the dialogue. The first one, roller rink.
A roller rink.
A roller rink.
Okay, so a roller rink. Let's break that down and let's look at the first part.
All right, so roller. We might recognize this from roller blades or roller skates.
Okay, so yeah, when you go rollerblading, roller skating, those things that you put on your feet to skate.
Right, wheels, not like a blade or a knife.
Exactly. So that's roller. And what about rink?
Rink is the place where you do skating.
Okay, so if you go to a roller rink, it's this big area where everyone can rollerblade or roller skate.
That's right.
Okay. And what about the next word?
A block.
Block.
A block.
Okay, so this is a noun, a block.
And a block is a part of a city that is surrounded by 4 streets.
Okay, so a city is made up of many blocks.
Yep.
And everyone lives on a block.
Exactly. So it's a square within the city.
All right, very good. So these are the 2 words that we previewed, and we're going to listen to them now in the dialogue. We're going to hear 2 guys just talking about normal, everyday things, but we're going to be listening to them in 1970.
Hey, man, how's it hanging?
Hey man, everything is just groovy, baby.
Did you go to the roller rink on Saturday? I heard it was far out, man.
I wanted to, but I ran into this foxy lady that just moved to my block. I was chatting her up a bit, and then we mellowed out at her place.
Right on, right on. Well, Jim went to the rink with Sherry, and he said it was dynamite. He was low on bread, but Sherry paid for everything.
Gravy! Jim is such a jive turkey, man. He's always hitting me up for cash. Anyway, you want to book and go grab some grub?
Yeah, man, I'm starving.
Okay, groovy dialogue.
Yeah, really nice, huh?
All right, so some interesting language in here. And like we said, it sounds a bit strange, but a lot of this is still used today in modern English. So why don't we look at some of these words in Language Takeaway?
Language takeaway.
All right, on language takeaway today, we have the first word, far out.
Far out.
That was far out.
To be far out.
Okay, so it's just another way of saying
Cool.
cool. That
Yep.
was nice.
Yep.
It was really cool. So they went to the roller rink. It was far out. It was really cool. But the other guy couldn't go because he saw a foxy lady.
A foxy lady.
Okay, foxy lady.
So basically, a foxy lady is a really good looking or sexy woman.
Right. Commonly, you would hear some men refer to a attractive woman as a fox.
Okay, so foxy lady. Now,
Okay.
Marco, can we say a foxy man?
No, this is a phrase that you would only use for women.
Okay, so foxy lady.
Foxy lady.
So after he met up with the foxy lady, they both just decided to mellow out at her place.
To mellow out.
To mellow out.
Okay, so mellow out. What does this mean exactly?
Basically, just to relax.
Right, so to relax, to take it easy. To mellow out.
So what did you do on the weekend?
Oh, nothing. I just stayed at home and mellowed out.
Okay. All right, and so the response to that was...
Right on.
Right on. Right on.
Right on, right on.
And so basically they're saying, okay, good, I agree.
Yeah, this phrase, you can say as good, yeah, that's nice, or you can also say it as, well, correct, I agree. So why don't we listen to some examples of how we can use this word in other situations?
Example 1.
Right on. You got a high score. That's amazing.
Example 2.
You got the job? Right on.
Example 3.
Jenny was right when she told me she thought Rick was no good for me. I should have listened to her.
Okay, so I think that's pretty clear. We can see how it means correct or also, okay, good.
All right, right on. And now we also have another word that's similar to far out. He said gravy.
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 Now, if you look it up in a dictionary, it's going to tell you something else, right?
Gravy is a sauce you put on meat.
Right. But in this case, we say gravy is cool. It's nice.
Yep.
All right, so gravy.
That was gravy. Now, finally, at the end of their conversation, they said, wanna book.
Okay, let's book.
Book.
So To book as a verb.
Yeah, interesting verb. It basically means to leave a place quickly.
Okay, so we have to book. The police are coming.
Right. Or, I gotta book, guys, I'm late.
So book, to leave quickly, to leave suddenly.
Yep, and that word is used quite commonly today, isn't it?
Yeah, it's used among like younger people. You would say, yeah, let's book. This party is dead.
Okay, great. So there's a lot of pretty cool phrases in this dialogue, pretty groovy phrases.
Yeah.
Why don't we hear them again in context?
Hey, man. How's it hanging?
Hey. Everything is just groovy, baby.
Did you go to the roller rink on Saturday? I heard it was far out, man.
I wanted to, but I ran into this foxy lady that just moved to my block. I was chatting her up a bit, and then we mellowed out at her place.
Right on, right on. Well, Jim went to the rink with Sherry, and he said it was dynamite. He was low on bread, but Sherry paid for everything.
Gravy. Jim is such a jive turkey, man. He's always hitting me up for cash. Anyway, you want to book and go grab some grub?
Yeah, man, I'm starving.
All right, so now that we understand these 6 words that we saw in Language Takeaway, it's time for us now to take a look at some great phrases that we can use today in Fluency Builder.
Fluency Builder.
Okay, so at the start of the conversation, there was an interesting way he started talking to his friend, right?
All right, he said, how's it hanging?
How's it hanging?
How's it hanging?
Okay, so basically, how is it going?
How's it going? How
Yep.
are you?
Mm-hmm.
Now, you notice in the spelling that we do have a G at the end, ing, right?
Yeah, but usually you don't really pronounce the G in this context because it's very informal. So, how's it hanging?
How's it hanging? So he said everything was just groovy, and then he started telling him about how he met a girl and he chat her up a bit.
To chat her up.
Okay, so to chat somebody up.
So when you chat someone up, you talk with them, right?
Yeah, you're making conversation.
But it's more than just conversation, isn't it?
Yeah, you're trying to be a little bit flirty and maybe saying nice romantic phrases or something like that.
Yeah, so usually it's between a woman and a man,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
And it's the man who chats up the woman.
Yeah, exactly.
So a little bit of a sexist phrase here.
To chat someone up or to chat up a girl, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he was chatting her up.
That's right. And so they were talking about how Jim went to the roller rink, but he didn't have any money, right? Because Jim is always hitting his friends up for cash.
Okay, so to hit someone up.
To hit someone up.
So before we explain this word, let's listen to some other examples so then we can maybe understand the meaning.
Example 1.
Can you believe Patrick? He came up to me a month ago and tried to hit me up for some money.
Example 2.
When I was a kid, I used to always hit my dad up for lunch money.
Example 3.
This is the last time I lend you money. Don't even try to hit me up for more.
All right, so when you hit someone up for something, you ask for it.
So usually it's to ask for money, right?
That's right.
Okay, so to hit someone up. And now for our last phrase. Let's book and let's go grab some grub.
To grab some grub.
Grab some grub.
Okay, let's break this one down. With the final word, grub, what are we talking about?
Grub is an informal way of saying food.
Okay, so to grab some grub is to get some food quickly.
Yeah, let's go get some food.
All right, so maybe it's time for us to grab some grub. And while we're doing that, you can listen to the dialogue one last time.
Hey, man, how's it hanging?
Hey, man. Everything is just groovy, baby.
Did you go to the roller rink on Saturday? I heard it was far out, man.
I wanted to, but I ran into this foxy lady that just moved to my block. I was chatting her up a bit, and then we mellowed out at her place.
Right on, right on. Well, Jim went to the rink with Sherry, and he said it was dynamite. He was low on bread, but Sherry paid for everything.
Gravy! Jim is such a jive turkey, man. He's always hitting me up for cash. Anyway, you want to book and go grab some grub?
Yeah, man, I'm starving.
All right, so some interesting phrases, and even though some of these words you may not really commonly hear anymore, they might still be used in movies or something that's related to the disco era because it's very, very popular still, right?
Yeah, that's right. Some of our more advanced users could even use a lot of these phrases in a kind of funny way to reference back to 1970.
Yeah, exactly. So it's fun, and, well, you will use them or you will hear them from time to time, even today.
And remember, if you have any questions about the language you hear in these lessons, check out our website at EnglishPod.com.
Exactly. We're there to answer any questions, and we'll see you guys there.
Thanks for listening, and until next time, goodbye.
Bye. Hello, English learners. Welcome back to another podcast here with us at EnglishPod. My name is Marco.
And I'm Erica.
And today we have an advanced lesson for all of you, and a very good one because we're going to be talking about a very serious topic, global warming.
That's right. And, you know, even though most people agree that global warming is a big problem, there's still this sort of fringe element of people who believe that actually global warming doesn't exist.
Exactly, so that's what we're going to be looking at today. But before we tell you more or less what the dialogue is about, let's take a look at some words in Vocabulary Preview.
Vocabulary Preview.
We're going to look at two words here, and you'll hear both of these in the dialogue. So the first one is polar ice caps.
Polar ice caps.
Polar ice caps.
So when we talk about polar ice caps, polar is...
Like the poles.
The poles, right?
The north and south poles of the Earth.
Okay, so the extreme...
The top and bottom.
The top and bottom of the planet.
Yep.
Okay, and what about ice caps?
So the polar ice caps are masses of ice that live or that exist on the top and the bottom of the world.
We have these big chunks of ice that are on the top at the bottom of the planet.
Yes, they're there all year round.
Okay, so these are the polar ice caps. What about our next word?
Well, next word is endangered species.
An endangered species.
An endangered species.
Okay, so endangered species.
It's a type of animal that is at risk of completely dying out.
Okay, so it's not completely extinct.
Right.
So there's still...
It's in danger.
Okay, in danger of.
Yeah.
So an example of endangered species would be...
the Bengal tigers.
Okay, the tigers or the pandas, right?
Or maybe gorillas.
Right, so all of these animals, there are very few of them left in the world, so they are endangered species.
Okay, so with that, I think we're just about ready to turn to our dialogue. Now, here we're going to learn a lot of language that you can use when you want to make an argument or express your point of view in a very sort of academic way. But Marco, what are we arguing about here?
So we're going to listen as a college professor is lecturing about global warming, and, well, one of the students doesn't really agree with what he's saying.
And therefore, global warming is the greatest deception of the early 21st century. Questions?
Yeah. In the lecture, you said there's more evidence in the scientific record supporting global cooling?
Well, yes. Essentially, the historical record supports a theory of climate cycles. Warming and cooling are cooperating processes in the planetary ecosystem.
If that's true, and the planet is getting cooler, what explains the rapid melting of the polar ice caps and the dramatic rise in the global average temperatures?
But are global temperatures rising? If you look at the data from 1975, you'll
be misled. If you were serious, you would look at the record starting in the 1880s. Then you would see how dramatically the Earth's temperature has changed.
Young lady, I beg to differ. Look, the point of the lecture was to emphasize that there's evidence for both sides. And I'm putting forth the argument that there's greater evidence in support of the global cooling hypothesis. Look, it's an indisputable fact that the public is being manipulated and scared into believing that there's some kind of climate crisis. This scaremongering is done quite simply for political reasons.
But even without the uncomfortable reality that greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide contribute to global warming, isn't the topic appropriate for politicians to discuss?
Not if they want to use your tax dollars and mine to fund completely unnecessary initiatives.
Yeah, like conservation, protecting endangered species, and investing in renewable energy. At the very least, you have to concede that this debate has the potential to end our dependence on foreign oil. Buying oil supports autocratic countries that use these revenues to devastating ends.
I've never been so disrespected in all of my days. I'm a professor, a scientist, and a researcher of high regard.
Yeah, and a duplicitous one at that. Everyone knows you're in the pocket of the oil lobby. Why should we trust your so-called findings more than Tobacco Institute studies, which say smoking doesn't harm health? You're full of it.
Some people just cannot handle civil debate.
All right, so apparently this college professor is not very truthful in what he's saying, right?
Well, yeah, maybe he believes it, but they certainly have very strong and differing opinions.
Mm-hmm. So that's the interesting part, is that we heard a lot of language that she used to argue her point of view. So this is interesting, and we can start now looking at some of this language in Language Takeaway.
Language takeaway.
So the college professor was arguing against this idea of global warming, and she said, look, it's an indisputable fact.
Okay, an indisputable fact.
An indisputable fact.
Okay, so let's break it down and let's take a look at this word indisputable.
You can't argue against it.
Okay, so something indisputable is you can't argue with it, and well, a fact.
Something that's true.
Okay, so you can't argue with this truth.
Piece of information, yeah.
All right, indisputable fact.
So why don't we give a few examples? It's an indisputable fact that China is the most populous nation on Earth.
Okay, exactly. Or it's an indisputable fact that EnglishPod is the best podcast out there.
Indeed, it is indisputable.
All right, so indisputable fact. And what about our next word?
Well, the student accused the professor of scaremongering.
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 Okay, now this is kind of a strange word, scaremongering.
Yeah, and I think some examples will help us to understand the meaning a little bit better.
Example 1.
Software flaws are not the same as virus attacks, and saying otherwise is just scaremongering.
Example 2.
There's been a lot of scaremongering caused by the rumor that mobile phones cause cancer.
Okay, so basically we understand that it's kind of putting fear in people's minds.
Yeah, it's sort of like selling fear for your own benefit.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so making people afraid for some objective or some purpose.
Yeah, and you know, this word reminds me of the word a fishmonger.
Okay, a fishmonger, what's that?
Which is basically a seller of fish. So a scaremonger is a seller of fear.
Okay, interesting. So now we have a way of remembering it.
Yes.
Scaremongering. All right, and moving on to our next word, we have autocratic.
Autocratic.
An autocratic country.
Mm-hmm. So an autocratic country is ruled by someone who holds total power.
Okay, so we have an autocratic country. So basically we have a leader that rules everything, right?
Right.
But we can apply it not only to a country, we can say a person is autocratic.
Yeah, you could say, I can't stand my boss's autocratic leadership style.
Or maybe a company.
Mm-hmm. This company is a very autocratic organization.
Okay, very good. And what about our last word?
The student accused the professor of being duplicitous.
Okay, so she said he is duplicitous.
Yes, duplicitous.
All right, what does that mean?
When you are duplicitous, you have behavior that is dishonest and is designed to trick people.
Okay, so you're not a very honest person if you're duplicitous.
Yeah, you're telling lies as a means of making people do something or tricking them.
Okay, very good. So a duplicitous person or a duplicitous idea, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, so these are all the words that we have on Language Takeaway today. But now let's move on to some very interesting phrases that we can use to put forward some arguments in Fluency Builder.
Fluency Builder.
Okay, and Marco, you actually just mentioned our first phrase, which is I'm putting forth the argument that.
Okay, so putting forth the argument that. So if you put forth an argument,
You present it.
you present it or you push it towards somebody.
Yeah, you give
right?
it.
So can we just put forth an argument?
Well, actually, you can put forth a lot of things, like put forth a suggestion
Okay, I'm putting forth a suggestion that we should get a new computer.
or an idea.
Tim put forth the idea that we should go on vacation to Hawaii.
Ooh, good idea.
All right, so you can put forth many different things.
So the professor obviously is putting forth the argument that global warming is a myth. And the student obviously totally disagreed. And she said, you have to concede that.
Okay, you have to concede that.
You have to concede that.
All right, so this word concede, or you have to concede, why don't we listen to some examples before we listen to the meaning?
Example 1.
I'm sorry, but I can't concede with you on this point.
Example 2.
Julie conceded that she might have forgotten her sister's birthday.
Example 3.
Both philosophers conceded that their philosophies have some errors.
Okay, so you have to concede that. Basically, you have to agree that this one point in my argument is true.
Maybe you're arguing many different points with somebody, but you tell them, well, you have to concede that the earth is round.
Okay, so that part I can't argue with. It's really true.
Okay, very good. So concede.
Now, at the end of the dialogue, the student accused the professor of being in the pocket of the oil lobby.
Okay, so he's in the pocket of.
To be in the pocket of.
All right, so if I have somebody in my pocket, what does that mean?
It means basically you're bribing them.
Okay, so maybe I have the senator in my pocket.
Okay, so obviously you're paying the senator to do what you want.
Okay, very good. So it's another way, it's a very informal way of saying I'm bribing somebody or that person is being bribed.
That's right.
All
So
right.
why don't we move to our final phrase? And the student was talking about the professor's so-called findings.
Okay, so your so-called findings.
So-called.
So this word so-called.
You use this word when you want to take away from the importance of an idea.
All right, so I use it before a noun, right?
Right. So, for example, my so-called friends.
Okay, so these friends are not really your friends, maybe.
So, yeah, they're friends in name, but they don't act like friends.
Okay, so you can say my so-called job.
Okay, so maybe you kind of go to work but do nothing all day.
Right, or maybe you don't even really like what you do.
Right.
Right, so my so-called job, my so-called friends, or maybe my so-called teacher.
Okay, so this is a bad teacher.
Exactly. So we use it a lot with many different nouns, right?
That's right. So that's our last phrase for Fluency Builder. Now, I think it'll help us to understand these words and phrases a little bit better, to hear them again in context.
And therefore, global warming is the greatest deception of the early 21st century. Questions?
Yeah. In the lecture, you said there's more evidence in the scientific record supporting global cooling.
Well, yes. Essentially, the historical record supports a theory of climate cycles. Warming and cooling are cooperating processes in the planetary ecosystem.
If that's true, and the planet is getting cooler, what explains the rapid melting of the polar ice caps and the dramatic rise in the global average temperatures?
But are global temperatures rising? If you look at the data from 1975, you'll
be misled. If you were serious, you would look at the record starting in the 1880s. Then you would see how dramatically the Earth's temperature has changed.
Young lady, I beg to differ. Look, the point of the lecture was to emphasize that there's evidence for both sides. And I'm putting forth the argument that there's greater evidence in support of the global cooling hypothesis. Look, it's an indisputable fact that the public is being manipulated and scared into believing that there's some kind of climate crisis. This scaremongering is done quite simply for political reasons.
But even without the uncomfortable reality that greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide contribute to global warming, isn't the topic appropriate for politicians to discuss?
Not if they want to use your tax dollars and mine to fund completely unnecessary initiatives.
Yeah, like conservation, protecting endangered species, and investing in renewable energy. At the very least, you have to concede that this debate has the potential to end our dependence on foreign oil. Buying oil supports autocratic countries that use these revenues to devastating ends.
I've never been so disrespected in all of my days. I'm a professor, a scientist, and a researcher of high regard.
Yeah, and a duplicitous one at that. Everyone knows you're in the pocket of the oil lobby. Why should we trust your so-called findings more than Tobacco Institute studies, which say smoking doesn't harm health? You're full of it.
Some people just cannot handle civil debate.
All right, very good. So, interesting ways of putting forth arguments, and well, it's an interesting topic and very controversial, right?
That's right. But what I noticed in this dialogue is that the student was pretty assertive in putting forth her argument and standing up to the teacher.
Right. She argued with the teacher a lot, and this is interesting because it's a very cultural aspect, I think, right?
Yeah. In North American universities, there is this idea that it's really important to think critically and to argue against different ideas, and to really speak up when you don't agree with something.
Right. So basically there's this culture of questioning not only what you're being taught, but you can also question the teacher. You don't actually have to believe everything that the teacher is saying.
Exactly. And actually, I think this situation is really interesting. You always go to these lectures and there's always a question and answer period at the end of the lectures. Mm-hmm. And I think that there's like this group of sort of academically minded people who feel like it's really cool to ask these really difficult questions and engage in arguments with the profs.
Yeah, that's really true. But actually, she used a lot of polite language and a lot of polite ways of actually arguing with the professor until the last point when she said, "You're full of it."
Yeah, you're full of it.
Right? You're full of it.
So what's she saying here?
All right, she's basically saying that you're full of shit.
Marco.
So yeah, you wouldn't really say that, so to be a little bit less rude, you would just say you're full of it.
Yeah, but that is one step too far. I think this would be considered a little bit rude in university.
For a professor, yeah. But I guess if you don't believe what your friend is telling you, or maybe he's exaggerating, you can say, "Oh, you're full of it."
Yeah. Okay, so some great argumentative language here in this dialogue, but we want to give you an opportunity to try out some of this language. So come to our website at EnglishPod.com.
Right, we are there to answer any questions or doubts, and we'll see you guys there.
All right, guys, until next time, goodbye.
Bye. Hello, English learners. Welcome back to EnglishPod. My name is Marco.
And I'm Erica.
And today we have another romantic lesson. Kind of romantic.
A little romantic. We got a boyfriend and a girlfriend, and they're apologizing to each other.
Okay, so it's a very common situation, and we're going to be talking about love. We're also going to talk about different pet names that are commonly used in English.
That are used with your boyfriend or girlfriend.
Okay, very good. So let's listen to this dialogue for the first time and see what's happening with our couple.
Can we talk?
Sure, honey. We're talking now, aren't we?
You know what I mean.
Yeah, I know.
I want to know where this relationship is going. I'm in love with you, and I need to know...
You know, I think you're awesome.
I'm awesome. Well, I guess that's my answer, isn't it?
Honey.
Look, if you don't love me, it's not a thing, all right? We've had our laughs, but I don't appreciate... Well, maybe it's just time we...
Baby, I love you so much.
You do?
I love you, and I think you're awesome.
Oh, I love you too.
Come on, put the gun down.
Oh, baby, I'm so sorry.
Okay, so romantic and dramatic.
Yeah, I think she really needed to hear that. Right, so I think she really wanted to hear, "I love you."
Yeah, that's right. And there's some interesting phrases here in this dialogue. And today we're going to focus mostly on phrases. So why don't we start with Fluency Builder?
Fluency Builder.
Okay, on Fluency Builder today, we are going to take a look at some of these phrases. And the first one is very important and very different.
So obviously this dialogue is about love, and we heard two different ways that this word is used. And the first one is to love someone.
Right, so he said, I love you.
Yeah, I love you.
We all pretty much understand what that means.
Right, but they also mentioned to be in love with someone.
Okay, so he said, I am in love with you.
I'm in love with you.
In love.
Okay, so what's the difference between to love and to be in love?
To be in love with someone means that you have these strong romantic feelings towards somebody.
That's right. So you can only be in love with your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your husband, or your wife.
So you can love your parents, you can love your family, but you can't be in love with them. You can only be in love with your girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife.
That's right.
Okay.
So moving on to the next phrase. Now, the girl asked her boyfriend, can we talk?
Can we talk?
Can we talk?
This is a very simple sentence.
Right, we know the meaning, right?
But why does she say, can we talk?
Okay, so you use this when you want to start a conversation about something serious.
Okay, so if you wanted to talk to me about my new shirt.
I wouldn't say, hey, Marco, can we talk? Oh, I really like your shirt. Where'd you get it?
Exactly, right?
It has to be serious.
It has to be serious. So usually, if somebody says, hey, can we talk? It means that there's going to be a serious topic.
Yeah, it's going to be probably bad news.
Maybe bad news.
Yeah.
So, can we talk? So, if your boyfriend or girlfriend tells you this, well, it's not a good sign.
That's right.
All right. And the last phrase that we have on Fluency Builder, you know what I mean.
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 All right. So, again, this phrase is very simple to understand, right?
That's right.
So, you know what I'm talking about.
You understand me.
But the interesting thing is that we can also make it a question.
And it's all about the change in tone.
Okay, so with this in mind, let's listen to two examples of the same phrase, but with different tones. And you try to see which one is the question.
Example 1.
I'm tired of doing nothing all day here at home. You know what I mean?
Example 2.
Come on, Charles. You know what I mean when I say that I don't like your friends.
Example 3.
I hate this class. It's so boring and tedious. You know what I mean?
All right, so we heard the examples and, well, maybe you guessed it right. The second example was the question.
That's right. You know what I mean?
Right. So basically, you're asking the person if they understand your idea or they understand what you're talking about. So maybe you can say, so the professor wasn't very clear on his instructions, so how was I supposed to do the homework? You know what I mean?
So you're asking me to confirm that I understand you.
My idea. You understand what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay, and if it was a statement, I might say, hey, I don't like going to your mom's house.
So I would say, what? What do you mean? Why?
You know what I mean.
Right. So I perfectly understand or know the reasons why you don't like going to my mom's house.
I don't have to tell you. You know what I mean.
All right. Very good. So you know what I mean. Great. So we've taken a look at these 4 phrases. They're very simple, but the way that you use them gives them different meanings.
That's right.
All right. So let's listen to our dialogue for the second time. Let's slow it down a little bit, and then we'll come back and look at some more phrases.
Can we talk?
Sure, honey. We're talking now, aren't we?
You know what I mean.
Yeah, I know.
I want to know where this relationship is going. I'm in love with you, and I need to know...
You know, I think you're awesome.
I'm awesome. Well, I guess that's my answer, isn't it?
Honey.
Look, if you don't love me, it's not a thing, all right? We've had our laughs, but I don't appreciate... Well, maybe it's just time we...
Baby, I love you so much.
You do?
I love you, and I think you're awesome.
Oh, I love you too.
Come on, put the gun down.
Oh, baby, I'm so sorry.
Okay, so now it's time for us to take a look at some more phrases, but this time we're going to look at them in putting it together.
Putting it together.
Okay, we're going to see how we can use these phrases in a few different situations. So the girl wanted to talk to her boyfriend because she wanted to know where this relationship is going.
Right. Where is this relationship going?
Where is this relationship going?
So she wants to know what's going to happen, or
what's the future?
What's the future of this relationship?
Yep.
Are we going to get married? Are we
Yep.
just what's happening?
Yep.
So why don't we listen to some examples with different nouns and how we can use this phrase?
Example 1.
I don't know where my career is going in this company. I don't see any potential for growth.
Example 2.
This movie is so confusing. I have no idea where the plot is going.
Example 3.
We have been in this meeting for over 2 hours and I still don't know where it's going.
Okay, so again, this phrase is just asking about the future of something.
Right. So where the future of this movie? Where is this movie going?
Yeah, what's happening?
Right. What's going to happen?
Yep.
Or your career, etc.
Yep. Okay, and so the girl, she was talking a little bit about her feelings, and she said, maybe it's just time we...
Okay, so this phrase isn't complete yet.
Yeah.
We need to finish it.
Yeah.
But she is basically saying, maybe we should do this.
Mm-hmm.
How can we finish the phrase?
All right, so she could say, maybe it's just time we break up.
All right, or I can say, maybe it's time we have a baby.
Ooh, Marco.
All
or
right.
even, maybe it's time we go home.
Okay, so it's getting late, let's go home. Maybe
Yep.
it's time we go home.
Yeah.
So this is how we can finish this phrase. And what about our last phrase?
So she also said, we've had our laughs.
Okay, so that means we've had our good times.
Yep.
Okay.
But we can change this to, we've had our ups and downs.
Okay, or we've had our moments.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that means we've had our good moments and our bad moments.
That's right. Or we've had our issues.
Okay, so that means we've had some problems,
Yeah.
we've had some difficulties.
Mm-hmm. Or even we've had our moments.
Okay, so that means we've had...
Special times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that means we've had our special times, special occasions
Yep.
that we will always remember.
That's right.
Okay.
So three really useful structures that you can change the words a little bit to slightly change the meaning.
Okay, so it's time for us to listen to our dialogue for the last time. Now we're ready to understand everything. And then we'll come back and give you some examples of pet names in English.
Can we talk?
Sure, honey. We're talking now, aren't we?
You know what I mean.
Yeah, I know.
I want to know where this relationship is going. I'm in love with you, and I need to know...
You know, I think you're awesome.
I'm awesome. Well, I guess that's my answer, isn't it?
Honey.
Look, if you don't love me, it's not a thing, all right? We've had our laughs, but I don't appreciate... Well, maybe it's just time we...
Baby, I love you so much.
You do?
I love you, and I think you're awesome.
Oh, I love you too.
Come on, put the gun down.
Oh, baby. I'm so sorry.
All right, well, Marco, you mentioned this word pet names. And what exactly is that?
All right, so pet names aren't names for your dogs or your cats,
Okay,
right?
right.
They are those sweet names that you would call your boyfriend or girlfriend.
Okay, so like baby.
Okay, in our dialogue, we heard baby.
Yep.
Right? So we're not talking about a little
child.
No.
Yep.
This is usually how you would call maybe your girlfriend or boyfriend, baby.
Or honey.
Honey, right?
Yep.
Hey, honey, or honey, I'm home.
Yep.
Right? But we also have other ones like sweetheart. Or
Darling.
darling.
Yeah.
Or what about sweetie? Or cutie.
Cutie. Oh.
So some of these phrases can be a little bit like cheesy, maybe
A
like
little too sweet.
too much.
Yeah.
Like smookums.
Snookums.
Snookums. Like snookums.
Okay.
Or honey bunny.
Oh, yeah.
We also have sweetie pie.
Yep.
Yeah. And some of them will make some up, right? Maybe they'll call their boyfriend Pooh Bear,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like, like Winnie the Pooh,
Yeah.
Pooh Bear.
I heard dumpling is a common one.
Also, it could be, you can make up your own phrase. You can make up your own pet names, right?
Yeah, so I want to hear from our listeners. Are there any common pet names in your language?
I know that in Spanish, we sometimes call we can sometimes call our girlfriend gorda, which
Okay.
actually means fat. But it's not in a bad way.
Really?
It's a sweet way of calling your girlfriend. So.
And I know in French you can say ma puce, which basically means my flea.
Yeah, so some of them, if you translate, you wouldn't really use in English. But let us know. Translate from your language or other ones that you've heard maybe in movies or talk shows. And come to our website, EnglishPod.com.
Yep. Leave your questions there, as well as your pet names. And Marco and I are always happy to see you there.
Okay, until next time.
Goodbye.
Bye. Hello, English learners. Welcome back to English Pod. My name is Marco.
And I'm Erica.
Today, we're bringing you a lesson about the office, so something related to business, right?
That's right. And in this lesson, we're learning language you can use to tell someone they did a good job.
Okay, so a job well done. You want to praise somebody.
That's right. So we're going to listen in as a manager praises his employee on a presentation.
Okay, so before we listen to the dialogue, let's take a look very quickly at vocabulary preview.
Vocabulary preview.
Well, we're going to hear both of these words in the dialogue, and the first one is a whiz.
Whiz.
To be a whiz.
Okay, so it's an adjective. Somebody is a whiz.
That's right. And whiz comes from the word wizard.
Okay, so kind of like a witch, but a guy witch.
Yeah, man witch. But so a whiz is someone who is really good at something.
Okay, so I can say David is a computer whiz.
Or Anthony is a math whiz.
Okay, so he's really good at computers, or he's really good at math, or he knows a lot about math.
Exactly.
Okay, and our second word.
Well, we're going to hear about slides.
Slides.
PowerPoint slides.
PowerPoint slides. Okay, so everyone knows PowerPoint, right?
A computer program.
A computer program that you use to make presentations.
And a slide is one page in that presentation.
Okay, so if you have 10 pages in your PowerPoint presentation, you basically have 10 slides.
Exactly.
Very good. So now let's listen to the dialogue for the first time, and we're going to see what's happening in this business meeting.
And so that concludes my outline for our marketing strategy next year. Thank you very much for your time.
Hey, that was quite the presentation. Honestly, I was completely blown away by your strategy outline. I've got to say, Alex, you really wowed me today.
Come on. It was nothing. I'm just doing my job.
No, I think you deserve some recognition here. I mean, if I look back on your previous presentations, this is a huge improvement.
Well, Kristen did give me a hand with the slides. She's a real whiz on PowerPoint.
And I saw that you took on board my feedback about pricing strategies. I really appreciate you taking the time to think through my suggestions.
Yeah, well, that was some good advice. You made some really good points.
Well, I just wanted to say, well done. Really, you did a great job.
All right, well, it sounds like the employee is a little bit shy or embarrassed by receiving all of these compliments.
Yeah, I guess he's kind of being humble about it.
Exactly. So why don't we move on to the language now? There are so many really useful phrases in this dialogue that I think we're just going to focus on those today. So let's get started with Fluency Builder.
Fluency builder.
Okay, so today on Fluency Builder, let's start with our first phrase. The boss was so impressed with the presentation that he said, I was completely blown away.
To be completely blown away.
Okay, so to be completely blown away.
Or to be blown away.
All right, so what does that mean, to be blown away?
To be surprised and amazed, but in a very positive way.
Okay, so I can say, I'm surprised, I'm amazed, but I'm still not very clear on this. Why don't we listen to a couple of examples of how we could use this phrase?
Example 1.
Carl blew me away with his knowledge of political science.
Example 2.
I was blown away when I heard that Jenny and Rick had gotten married. They've known each other for less than a month.
Example 3.
My parents were blown away when they found out I had a tattoo.
Okay, so I think that's a little bit clearer now. And this is a wonderful way to give your praise to someone when they do something really amazing.
Okay, so completely blown away. You blew me away.
That's right.
Now, what about our second word?
Well, it's quite similar. The boss said that you really wowed me.
You wowed me.
To wow someone.
Okay, so it's spelled W-O-W, wow.
So when you wow someone, you make that person go, wow.
Okay, so you impress somebody.
Yep.
To wow someone. I can use it as a verb.
Yep.
You wowed me. I want to wow you.
Well, I want you to wow me.
Okay, so wow. Now, let's take a look at our third phrase. The guy, he's a little bit shy. He's trying to be a little bit humble about, receiving so many compliments. So he says, oh, it was nothing.
It was nothing.
Really, it was nothing.
It was nothing.
So that's a way of saying it wasn't hard or it's not a big deal.
It's not that important.
Exactly. So if somebody's saying, wow, thank you so much for lending me your car. Don't worry about it. It was nothing.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
It's a polite way, actually, to respond to a nice compliment.
Very good. So before we move on to our next phrase, let's listen to a couple of examples with it was nothing.
Example 1.
Thanks for lending me your car this week. I really appreciate it.
It's okay, really. It was nothing.
Example 2.
I can't believe you organized this surprise birthday party. Thank you so much.
Don't worry about it. It was nothing.
Okay, so I think that's pretty clear. Now, our final phrase here for Fluency Builder, the employee said that Kirsten gave him a hand.
Okay, so to give someone a hand.
Give me a hand.
Give me a hand.
Basically to help someone.
Help me or assist me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so to help someone, give me a hand or let me give you a hand.
That's right.
All right, very good. So great phrases in Fluency Builder today. I think it's time for us to listen to the dialogue for the second time. We're going to slow it down a little bit so we can catch all these phrases, and then we'll come back.
And so that concludes my outline for our marketing strategy for next year. Thank you very much for your time.
Hey, that was quite the presentation. Honestly, I was completely blown away by your strategy outline. I've got to say, Alex, you really wowed me today.
Ah, come on. It was nothing. I'm just doing my job.
No, I think you deserve some recognition here. I mean, if I look back on your previous presentations, this is a huge improvement.
Well, Kristen did give me a hand with the slides. She's a real whiz on PowerPoint.
And I saw that you took on board my feedback about pricing strategies. I really appreciate you taking the time to think through my suggestions.
Yeah, well, that was some good advice. You made some really good points.
Well, I just wanted to say, well done. Really, you did a great job.
Okay, so like we said before, there's a lot of really helpful phrases in here. And we're going to look at a few more of these in putting it together.
Putting it together.
Okay, so let's start with the first phrase. The boss was quite impressed with him, and he said, that was quite the presentation.
That was quite the presentation.
All right, quite the presentation.
So this phrase, quite the presentation, it means it was good, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was special.
It was very good.
Yep. Now we can take the noun presentation out and replace it with any other noun.
All right, so I can say Bob is quite the basketball player.
Mm-hmm. Why don't we listen now for a few more examples?
Example 1.
I heard you are quite the dancer. Can you teach me some moves?
Example 2.
Carl is quite the ladies' man. He is very good when it comes to talking to girls.
Example 3.
Nancy is quite gifted at math. She can solve any math problem you give her.
So you're saying in a very good way that something is very good.
Or special.
Very special.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right. So the boss was very impressed with the employee, and he said, "And I saw that you took on board my feedback."
To take on board my feedback.
Okay, so take on board something.
Mm-hmm. So here, my feedback is my suggestions, right? Mm-hmm. And when you take on board my feedback, you accept my feedback and you use it.
Okay, so I can say, for example, I want you to take on board my ideas.
Mm-hmm. Or Jenny took on board a few of my suggestions. I was really happy.
Okay, very good. So to take on board, to accept and use.
All right, so take on board feedback, take on board suggestion, take on board ideas.
Okay, very good. And we have one more phrase. I'm putting it together today. To think something through.
To think it through.
Okay, so think it through.
So here, the boss said that he took the time to think through my suggestions.
Mm-hmm. So think through, what does that mean?
To think carefully about all of the details of something.
Okay, so to take into consideration all the aspects.
Right. So why don't we give an example? Mm-hmm. If you're thinking through a plan, right, you don't just think about the end, the outcome.
Okay.
You want to think about all of the small details, the steps in that plan.
Okay. So maybe I want to buy a new car, but it's a lot of money, so I really have to think it through.
So you have to think carefully about everything that is involved in buying the new car. All the money you're going to have to not spend on parties and...
Exactly. You have to think it through. You have to analyze it very carefully.
That's right. So let's give a few examples of how we can use this phrase. Hey, Marco, have you thought through my suggestions?
I can say you guys are very young. I think you should think it through before you get married.
Good advice.
Okay. So to think it through.
Okay. So 3 great phrases, and why don't we hear them one more time in our dialogue?
And so that concludes my outline for our marketing strategy next year. Thank you very much for your time.
Hey, that was quite the presentation. Honestly, I was completely blown away by your strategy outline. I've got to say, Alex, you really wowed me today.
Come on. It was nothing. I'm just doing my job.
No, I think you deserve some recognition here. I mean, if I look back on your previous presentations, this was a huge improvement.
Well, Kristen did give me a hand with the slides. She's a real whiz on PowerPoint.
And I saw that you took on board my feedback about pricing strategies. I really appreciate you taking the time to think through my suggestions.
Yeah, well, that was some good advice. You made some really good points.
Well, I just wanted to say, well done. Really, you did a great job.
Okay, great dialogue and some interesting phrases for giving praise, right? That's, I think, very important in the workplace.
Yeah, and you know what? I read recently that something like 6 out of every 10 employees don't get regular praise from their boss.
Yeah, it's very important. And in some cultures, well, it's not very common to praise or to give positive feedback to their employees.
Yeah, but I think for Western employees, actually, it's really important, and it helps them work harder. The more times they hear "job well done."
Yeah, very good. So now you have the tools that maybe you can use with your employees or
with your friends.
Yep. Okay, so if you have any questions, comments, or doubts, please come to our website, EnglishPod.com.
Yep, Marco and I are always around to help you out. So until next time, thanks for listening and goodbye.
Bye.